new Jane Doe comes forward. Included in the new 7 allegations in the Sean Diddy Combs lawsuit case. We're going to break this one down.
Ooh, you are listening to the Billy Flint Experience.
Thank you so much for listening to the Billy Flint Experience. I am your host, Billy Flint. You're coming live here from Germany. Yes, as we said at the start of this particular podcast, is that, yes, we have 7 new allegations. But I tell you one thing, it's this lawyer, Tony Buzbee, is like, he's working overtime. I mean, he is seriously on his grind on these matters. And as he promised, he said he had 120 all lined up. And I don't know, so far we had, 20 something or so? I haven't been keeping up with all of them. But, as they continue to roll off this conveyor belt of allegations, and I have to put this out there. All of this is allegations. None of this has been proven in a court of law. So I have to keep reminding people this. Although through all of the allegations and all the speculations and all the conspiracy theories that are out there that's connecting every last one of these assault cases, none of them are factual. So we have to keep that in mind. But the one that stuck out to me is of the new, I guess is this the first one that they actually say that is or was a minor at the time, back in 2000? And I decided to actually get the paperwork, and I'm going to read some of the paperwork. And I personally want to break it down. And again, this is just my unpopular opinion. I don't have any facts on whether or not this is truth or not, or I'll just say I don't want to say that none of this is not true, because it could be true. It could be some truth in this. We all don't know because it hasn't been proven to be true. But I personally want to break it down because I had to read it, and I had to read it 3-4 times to actually get the gist of what is actually being said. And again, I have to say, this Tony Buzbee is like, he's a serious lawyer. Let's give him applause. Tony Buzbee. Yes, out of Houston, Texas. He's been practicing law since his honorable discharge from the military service. You have to put that out there because, yes, he served in the military, had a couple of tours over in Africa and in the Middle East. Yeah. But nonetheless, he's supposedly being a great lawyer. But as we reported before, depends on how you want to look at that, because most of the people that know of his practice in the Houston area says that his law practices are very questionable. I called him an ambulance chaser because of how all of this is kind of been put together as him saying that he's gonna actually take in all of the people who have these allegations and want these lawsuits, these civil lawsuits. He decided that he was going to take all of them on. And it was reported that it was over, 3,000, 4,000. And he actually broke it down to about maybe 120. And these are the ones that he's concentrating on. But again, as we said, now that there has been one minor at the time has come forward. And again, I had to read and I had to reread over the information that has been provided. And I have some serious questions about it. And what it seems to me, as all of these allegations are coming, they're coming very quickly, very fast. And again, nothing has been proven to be fact or truth because the trial hasn't even started. And it seems to me is that not only do the federal government has it in for Sean Combs, but it seems as though this one lawyer, I mean, it could be more lawyers out, but they haven't spoken up on anything. But this one particular lawyer, Tony Buzbee, seemed to have like this wet dream to really take Sean Diddy Combs down. And again, this is civil suits. This is not federal. So, of course, he is getting paid. He's getting paid handsomely because I guess he sees this as a come up. He sees this as a lick. No, Diddy. He sees this as a great payday. Yeah, that's the American way. It's capitalism. Capitalist mindset. And I would definitely say he is what the definition of hating a lawyer, and lawyers are parasites. Not all lawyers, I would say, but because I got lawyers in my family, so I wouldn't say all lawyers, but particularly him and what he's doing. I call him an ambulance chaser. But we're going to start. Okay, so it says right here, it says, for decades, Sean Combs, also known as P. Diddy, also known as Puff Daddy, also known as Diddy, also known as PD, that's a new one to me, also known as Love, described wherein as Combs abused, molested, raped, assaulted, threatened, and coerced women, minors, and others for sex gratifications, to assert dominance, and to concern his abhorrent conduct. He accomplished these acts by and through a criminal enterprise built on the success as a rapper, record producer, and record executive. Okay, now, the magical word in this is minors. Okay, again, none of this is proven. But these are the allegations. These are in the lawsuit. In particular, this Jane Doe, who at the time was, or allegedly supposed to have been 13 years old. But remember, 13 years old, we're going to get into that later. Okay, so it says Combs' recurrent and pervasive physical abuse took place for multiple decades. His tendencies of violence and SA were all known amongst his colleagues, employees, agents, and businesses. On numerous occasions, from at least In or about 1996 and continuing for years, Combs assaulted women and men by striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects at, and kicking them. Combs also assaulted children for both physically and sexually. In 1996, Combs was found guilty of criminal mischief for threatening a photographer from the New York Post with a pow-pow. In 1999, he was arrested and charged with second-degree assault and criminal mischief in connection with assaulting a record executive. And we're all knowing that to be, what was that gentleman name? Not Chris Lighty. He hit the gentleman in the head with a champagne bottle. I forget his name. What is his name? Well, I really have to look this, because this is like, what was his name? So we have Sean Combs assaulted record exec. I mean, I really can't get past this, because it's like me picturing Sean Diddy Combs, the one who danced in the shiny suits. It was actually about that life. It still behooves me. Okay, I still cannot find it, because it's not popping up. It's not popping up like right in within this time. But I don't know. This is really what. Hold on for a second. Steve Stout. Why can I remember that name? That's the gentleman's name that is saying that he assaulted during that time, where it says connecting with assault for a record executive. Okay, that was Steve Stout, and that was connected to the Nas, which is another rapper, in the video that Combs performed in. Combs went to Steve Stout's office, asking him to edit the video, take him out of this one particular scene of a crucifix. Steve Stout decided to not do it. Sean gets upset and assaulted him with a bottle. Again, I can't picture that. This guy is dancing around in this shiny suit in all his artist videos, but it continues to say Combs' long history of violence against women unequivocally establish that his actions are motivated by gender, both men and women. Combs has profound contempt for women. Profound attempt for women. And a desire to dominate both minors and other women or other men. His conduct shows a long-standing practice of denigrating, defeating, and attempting to humiliate men, women, and children. His practices and desires are different from men, women, and children, but his actions are. This is really, really crazy how this is written. I mean, his actions are unequivocally motivated by the victim's particularly gender and age. I can't even get it out. I'm telling you, the way this is written, that Tony Bugsby is like, ooh, he's really good with writing. That's one thing for sure. He's like really good with writing. Okay, so we're going to go to the actually where it says factual allegations. And it says this is where it starts. The allegation of the alleged 13-year-old at the time, Jane Doe. This is a very, very interesting read. And this is what I had to read over and over again because I had some serious questions on this and the validity of this story. Factual allegations. On or around September 7, 2000, plaintiff, then 13 years old, had a friend drop her off at Radio City Music Hall in New York City. So she could try to attend the Music Video Awards in the VMAs. Plaintiff arrived at the venue and saw large crowds gathering as artists and entertainers began arriving. As the event began, the crowd moved inside, but plaintiff, without a ticket, remained outside. Determined to get into the after party, she approached several limousine drivers, attempting to talk her way into the MVAs. Okay, one of the limousine drivers she spoke to claimed to work for defendant Combs. He told her that Combs liked younger girls and said she fit what Diddy was looking for, allowing her into the awards, but inviting her to an after party. Okay, so we're going to take it back to the beginning. Now, it is said that this Jane Doe was at the time originally from Alabama. Okay. Now, this is September 7th, 2000, and I guess that was during the time that Sean Diddy Combs was dating J-Lo. Okay, so, again, she's 13 years old from the state of Alabama in New York City at nighttime or in the evening by herself on the streets of New York City, trying to get into a venue. She talks to a few of the limousine drivers, trying to talk her way in. And I guess I don't know, maybe they looked at her and said, okay, yeah, you look old enough to be here. Okay, this is my unpopular opinion. Again, she's 13 years old on the streets of New York from Alabama. Her friend drops her off. So she goes to her friend and say, take me downtown to I don't know where it was at, Radio City. Okay, if anyone has ever been to New York, you know where Radio City is at. It's one of the most crowded areas in Manhattan. So take me down to Radio City. I want to try to get into the MVA. So her friend, I don't know, maybe acknowledge, okay, sure, yeah, I'll drop you off. You're 13 years old. You're a child. But I'm going to take you downtown, and I'm going to drop you off so you can go try to get into the MVAs, even though you don't have a ticket and you're a child. But I'm going to drop you off. Okay, it continues to say the driver instructed plaintiff to return around 9:30 or 10 p.m., promising to take her to the party. So the limo driver acknowledges that she's 13. I don't care if a child puts on makeup and dressed the part, she's still going to look like a child. Again, so this limo drivers decide to say, okay, I see that this is a child. Amongst all of the other entertainers in the industry who was more than likely during the 90s were dressed in expensive outfits, looking very much adult-like. This child, 13 years old, is promised to be taken to the after party. Okay, so again, this is just my unpopular opinion. It continues, later that evening, plaintiff excitedly returned to the driver, who drove her alone in the black limousine with black interior. Black limousine with black interior. Okay, these are really like magical words that are being used. I don't know, I guess just to paint the picture. After approximately 20 minutes, plaintiff arrived at a large white house with a gated U-shaped driveway. 20 minutes from Radio City with traffic in New York on an awards night. Okay. Once inside, two men asked plaintiff to sign a non-disclosure agreement informing her that she could not discuss what happens at the party. She gave them her name and signed the form, but did not receive a copy. A 13-year-old girl arrives at a house. Security looks at this 13-year-old child and say, okay, yeah, sign your name across this dotted lines. I ain't keep it a secret. You're not allowed to say anything. Okay, again, I have to say, all of this is alleged, and again, this is just my unpopular opinion. Inside the house, plaintiff recognizes many celebrities in what appeared to be a living room. Wait staff carried trays of drinks, and loud music played throughout the house. Plaintiff observed widespread drugs use, including the devil's green and the white powder. Plaintiff accepted a drink, a reddish yellow mixture that tastes like orange juice, cranberry juice, and something bitter. Lemons, perhaps? After drinking just one drink, plaintiff began to feel woozy and lightheaded, making her need to lay down. A photograph of an actual, it says A. I guess this is, they're showing the photographs. It says A. Photograph of an actual exemplary container used by Combs and his agent employees to insert the substance into alcoholic drinks is seen below. And what it appears is, I guess this is, I don't know, why would they have to use this device to insert drinks or insert the concoction into a drink where you can just pour it into the drink and mix it. But I guess this is just for effect that they actually use in some type of device here. Okay, it says, looking for a place to rest, plaintiff entered what she believed to be an empty bedroom so she could lay down for a minute. She did not lock the door. Of course not. She's a child. Why would she think to lock the door? She's in a strange house with people whom she don't know. Yeah, well, a 13-year-old child would not know to lock doors behind them. Soon after, Combs, along with a male and a female celebrity, entered the room. Combs aggressively approached plaintiff with a crazed look in his eyes. Crazed look in his eyes. Grabbed her and said, "You are ready to party. You are ready to party." Combs then threw plaintiff towards another male celebrity, Celebrity A, who removed plaintiff's clothes as she grew more and more disoriented. Okay, now these plaintiffs or these celebrities A and B and C and D, Tony Buzbee, we're still waiting on names. You promised us names, that you would name or bring forward names. Like, what has it been? Like maybe 2-3 weeks ago, he said that he was going to start naming names or bringing forth the list of people. I haven't seen the list yet. Continues to say plaintiff was held down by Celebrity A who violently raped her while Combs and celebrity B, a female, watched. After the male celebrity finished, Combs then violently raped plaintiff while the celebrity A and celebrity B watched. Combs attempted to force plaintiff to perform oral stimulation on him, but she resisted by hitting Combs in the neck. So she wasn't too out of it. So I guess she got her strength and she decided to attack Sean Diddy Combs. He stopped. Plaintiff grabbed her clothes and shoes and left the bedroom, roaming naked through the house looking for the exit as the party continued. So we have a child, 13 years old, roaming the mansion. I don't know, they said about maybe it took 20 minutes to get to the house from Radio City on a crowded night in New York, in Manhattan, on an event night, an awards night, the MVAs in the 2000s. So I guess what, it was about maybe 10:30, 11, 12 o'clock. Let's say 12 o'clock they got to the house and all of this took place. I guess there could have been a lapse in timing, being that when someone is under the influence of some form of narcotics or controlled substance, that there's a lapse in timing. So it could have been much later. So I'll give it that there was a lapse in timing. Once outside, plaintiff put her clothes back on and left the scene in the dark. Okay, I guess I would say that wherever this house was at, it's not like it was in a neighborhood where there's lighting or even streets or sidewalks to walk on. Eventually, again, this is just my unpopular opinion as I continue to read these. These are the thoughts that are popping up in my head as I read this. So I have to keep saying that. This is just my own opinions. None of this is proof. None of this is factual. It's just as I sit and read this information. Eventually, plaintiff reached a gas station. A female clerk noticed her distress and allowed her to use the phone. So the female clerk see a 13-year-old child lost and disoriented and didn't think to call the police. Okay. Plaintiff called her father, admitting that she had lied about her whereabouts and asked him to pick her up. After the assault, a plaintiff fell into a deep depression and continues to affect every facet of her life. Okay, so we're going to move back. She called her father. So her father didn't think to first lose his excuse my language. The father did not think to lose his shit that his daughter lied to him, possibly snuck out of whatever she was living, possibly snuck out of the house, out of the apartment. Maybe the family was on vacation, who knows. But she snuck out. And the father doesn't lose his mind at the fact that his 13-year-old daughter, leaves in somewhere in Manhattan or the Hamptons or wherever this house was at. And he doesn't question his daughter, like, where in the hell was you at? Why did you leave? What is wrong with you? And she doesn't tell him exactly what happens. Not to mention that the female clerk in the gas station didn't notify the police of a child disoriented, possibly clothes put on backwards. Because where did she put her clothes on? She left the house with her clothes. So she put her clothes on outside the house and didn't think to call the authorities. I don't know. Maybe that is the fact. This is New York. People don't care in New York. So, Maybe that is what happened. But the simple fact that the father did not ask more questions, where were you at? What happened to you? What is going on? What have you been drinking? Smoking? As a father would automatically should pick up these clues of his own child to know that something is wrong with him. Not even to think to possibly take her to the hospital. Okay. So these are just some of the questions. And again, this could be 100% truth. But then again, it could be 100% made up. And that, again, this attorney from Houston, Texas, Tony Busby, is bringing all these allegations and lawsuits. Could it be that he's just trying to make a quick payday? Because there is a lot of money just sitting around, and why not? Why not go after it? Get as much as you can. He has all of the lawsuits lined up, and they are flying off again. They're flying off this conveyor belt at a speed unknown to any situation like this. It wasn't this bad with Jeffrey Epstein. And I gotta keep bringing him up because it is truth. His victims were chasing behind him for years, and no one paid attention to it. Until, I don't know, the mid 2000s, 2010, 2011 maybe. It started picking up speed in like 2016, 2017. And it really hit home during the pandemic, is when a lot of the allegations have been like really starting to be publicly known. My unpopular opinion is that, again, they're muddy. They're like putting mud on this case way before it ever reaches the trial of Sean Diddy Combs. A lot of these allegations and a lot of these suits that are coming forward, they're very questionable at best. To me, again, this is just my personal opinion. And this could be, as I stated before, the trial of the century. They're saying that Sean Diddy Combs is a monster. But the only thing that is fact, and the only thing as far as evidence is concerning, is the Cassie video. Very true. Cassie video was disturbing. But as a lot of people break down the relationship between him and Cassie, well, they were both toxic individuals. But not to take away that a man should never put his hands on a woman, and neither should a woman put her hands on a man. But again, twice as strong, a man should never ever put his hands on a woman. That alone, if anything, he should be punished for. But as far as all the other allegations, they're questionable. A lot of them are questionable. And as they continue to be publicly available, I will continue to read them and question what is actually going on. Again, none of these allegations are factual because they haven't been proven in a court of law. So therefore, as much as people hate to say or hate to realize that Sean Diddy Combs is innocent until proven guilty. But I find it very interesting that most of the people that are tied to these allegations and stories and reading these lawsuits on this social media platform, I myself tend to want to stay clear from misinformation and saying that all of this stuff is factual before it is actually being proven in a court of law. So I guess we all have to wait. It's getting very interesting. It's getting very disturbing that maybe, possibly, a lot of this is made up. But again, it's just my opinion, my unpopular opinion, I should say. So, as the information shows itself available to the public, I will get a hold of it and comb through it, read it, and continue to ask questions. I'm not going to be the one who just actually take it all in as truth, swallow it hook, line, and sinker. And what does it say? Is hook, line, and sinker? Is that what they say? Hook, line, and sinker. Okay, yeah. I'm not going to be the one to take it and just swallow it whole. No diddy. Once again, thank you so much for joining the Billy Flint Experience. I'm your host, Billy Flint. Look forward to being with you again. Take care of yourself. And don't believe everything that is on social media, especially YouTube. We'll be with you again soon.
Go on, you've got another 5 seconds. Say something outrageous.
You dirty bastard.
Go on, again.
You dirty fucker.
What a clever boy.
What a fucking rotter.
Well, that's it for tonight.